women like to say that black men who marry white women don't love their moms.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. You know, listen, love is love. You know, loyalty is hard to find. Trust is hard to find. Love is hard to find. Friendship. And if you find all of those qualities in somebody that just is not the same pigmentation as you, who gives a fuck what other people think? Life is short, man. Do you? But and I'm all for the love and the celebration of my sisters and my black queens. And I always said, if I ever get married again, who I have my legacy with, a family with, it's gonna be a black woman or a Hispanic woman. You know, my one baby mother black, the other Puerto Rican. That's my taste. But if it just so happens to not be a black woman, black women, stop. That's because you don't like your mother. What a ridiculous fucking thing to say. That you don't like your mother just because you choose to procreate and share a legacy with somebody who is not black? That is...
TunaBeats.com.
So I listened to this clip that Aries Spears was talking about when it pertains to black men and black men dating and marrying women of other race outside of the black culture, right? Black men who marry white women, Asian, Latina, and the list goes on, right? And as I listened to this clip, I even left a few comments that I showed on the clip itself. My Instagram page is Divine Reality Creator 14, and I essentially left some comments stating that as black men, you should go and date and marry who pretty much celebrates you, not tolerates you. And I say that because when I look at some of the things that are said, a lot of times you get comments like, "Oh, you're self-hating. You hate yourself. You don't like, the person that you're looking at in the mirror. You hate your own skin color. You hate your mom. And that's one of the main things that Aries Spears was questioned about and talked about in this clip, because the simple fact that black men choose to marry women outside of their own race or ethnicity bothers a lot of people within the black community, right? Even so much to say that you get called names like coon or sellout, or some people might make up things like bunny hopper or whatever random crazy nicknames that they throw and say towards some of these guys. And as someone who advocates for black men who should date and marry and really just do the things that make you happy, I honestly looked at this video and this clip, and this only thing that comes to mind is just a group of people that are just childish and have nothing else better to do. People who are either miserable, don't have their own formal way of dating or have their own relationship. People who don't have their own way of being happy with themselves. And honestly, some of the things that I hear within the community pertaining to the black men, a lot of the reasons why I say the things, or I don't want to say I defend black men, but I support the fact that some of these guys are dating and marrying women outside of our own race, is simply because of the fact that our community hates black men. A lot of the ideas, the ideologies that are pushed in our community targets black men, who are good men who carry themselves with respect, men who are upstanding, men who have a sense of order or represent themselves in an orderly manner, men who are generally good people, right? And then a lot of times when I look at the black community, you have all these stereotypes, right, that represent a small part of the community that is labeled and put upon a large mass, a group of the men within our own community. So the fact that I see these guys who understand and know their worth and they decide that they want to marry out based on whether that be proximity or just better treatment, whatever the case may be, you can't throw names like, oh, they're just self-hating or they hate their moms, so on and so forth, right? And I say that because a lot of times when it's black women that date out, which honestly is no problem either, you gotta date and marry who's gonna make you happy. Black people in America have the highest divorce rate in America. Yet we'll throw out, oh, it's self-hating that you're dating and marrying out. Oh, black love, but yet you have the highest divorce rate, you have the highest single mother rate, and then you tear down black men who decide that they find love somewhere else outside of their own community. It's already one thing that you're taking some issues and some hack or some flack from other races of people, but then you're taking it from your own people. And I get people, who have this pro-black, conscious way of thinking, right? Who think that you should, marry your own just to be happy and, just to, stick together and build a community, a foundation of togetherness. But when I look at what's going on in our world today, this is 2025. Things have continually gotten worse over years. Over the last 10 years, I've seen no improvement in black relationships. I've seen people talk down about black men who marry out, right? I see black men who, when they do become successful, it's almost like people expect you to be someone to give back to the community, to represent the community, to take care of the community, the same community that did not respect and take care of you. Right? To say that someone is self-hating because they marry out does not always pertain to them hating their own skin color or where they come from, simply because they want to do better. They want better for themselves. A lot of us come from communities, homes, families that are broken. You come from broken homes, broken environments that do not produce a whole lot of quality, right? So you want better for your life, right? And the fact that you're shamed upon that as a black man who says that, sometimes you step out to look better because you're shamed because you decide that you go a different route than what I will say most people in the community, the route that they take, right? They continue to walk the road of dysfunction, having kids out of wedlock, right? Not graduating high school, high crime rate, right? So on and so forth, right? And I'm not talking about the prosperous black communities and neighborhoods that are in this country. There are those communities, and there are people, black people, who have themselves together, who represent themselves well, who carry themselves in an upstanding manner. But the reality is a lot of them separate themselves from a community of people that clearly do not have a sense of functionality going on. And you can't shame them for wanting better. A lot of times you can't be around the same people that don't want better, that aren't looking to be better, and are not simply improving their lives for the sake and benefit of their own children, so on and so forth. When I look at a lot of the women and the men who say the things that they say about black men who date out, a lot of it is coming from a place of misery and a lack of understanding and honestly a carelessness to understand and relate to black men. But yet every time I see a black man or I see, black women going through certain things, we have to relate to a lot of them. All of a sudden they can just, attach their totem pole to, the struggles that certain black men have gone through in order to become successful, to be happy, to operate in the facet that they're operating in, to be successful, to be who they want to be, right? So at the end of the day, I simply say, I hope the best for a lot of those black men who marry out. You're not wrong, you're not self-hating, obviously, and you're simply living a life that's better suited for you. I'm not saying that going out always is better. I'm not saying staying in the community is where you should stay and be. I'm saying you got to make a good choice for your sense of livelihood and understand that the way things are put out, the way people shout things out, honestly, I think a lot of times they may not even pay attention to some of those things. And I mean, who would, right? But when I look at a lot of those guys, I honestly pray that they're happy because they deserve to be happy. I pray that they have happy relationships and that they function in a manner where they can prosper and live the good lives that they truly deserve. But to say that someone hates their mother, a lot of mothers, I've even seen, some mothers themselves say they don't care what color woman their son marries as long as he's happy, right? I've seen, you know, um, some sisters. I've seen some people, they'll say that they understand why some black men choose to marry out and go date certain groups of women based on, you know, how they're treated, how they're viewed. Our community truly does not value a lot of the black men that are good men in our community, and it's saddening and disheartening. But at the same time, it's understandable because a lot of the dysfunction that we have, and some people blame it on the system, but honestly, the community has to look at itself why it's dysfunctional, right? You have a lot of women raising kids, raising boys, raising girls, and a lot of them are not being raised to be husbands and fathers the way we should be raising each other to be. And that's particularly why we can relate a lot of these issues to why black couples getting married end up having a higher divorce rate, right? At the end of the day, you simply have to look at doing what's best for you, no matter what people say, no matter how people shake things up to be. Yes, it's 2025, but at the end of the day, you still have people saying the things that they're saying, right? So that is all for today's video. I want to take the time to simply say thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to my content. And always remember, to be informed is not to be woke. Stay conscious, my friends.